Hey guys, welcome to the Heart of David. I have a good video today. Probably by the title because I haven't made a title in my mind yet. I'm just sitting down. I just decided to do this just off the cuff. That's usually how I do my videos. I'm going to make it very clear to you. Yeah, welcome to the Heart of David, guys. I hope everyone's doing well. I ask that you guys pray for me because my back is out on, it's really bad, and I could use those prayers, please. This is a topic I understand fully. There's nothing I don't understand about this. I'm going to play this as my back. I'm going to play this guy, and I don't mean anything towards anybody. And this is the thought process. I'm going to make it very clear to you from the outset. If you don't believe in God, then you're probably never ever going to beat this. And right, no pun intended. You're never going to beat this. You're not going to see it in a proper way. My background: sexual activity, porn, a ton of that stuff in my earlier life. So I know, and I fought all the battles. I fought all those battles, even as I became a born-again Christian. Guys, I've been a Christian all my life. I'm 45 years old, almost 46. And I know this battle quite well. I want to play this for you. I understand the concept of NoFap. I understand, and I think what I'll do before I play this is I'll try to explain to you what I understand about not masturbating and what it will do for you. I don't have to get into the scientific part of it. It's quite obvious to me what the whole basis of this is. What's the reason? What will it do for you? Just give me a second, my back. If you don't believe in God and you're trying to do this, and there's a lot of information about this, this is widespread. My life was difficult enough even without computers, when there were no computers. I mean, handhelds and all that type of stuff. Let's just call it back in the 1990s. In this day and age, you see, back in my day, it was, porn magazines, and the women that you were around, right? Having a very difficult time with my back. So without a doubt, without a single doubt, for most people on the globe who have access to electronics, to the internet, which is just about everybody. In the Western world, it's everybody. Some people choose not to use smartphones like myself. I have one, but I'm never on it, just emergencies. That's going to be your number one problem. And I think the people who are trying to do NoFap are doing this absolutely blind. The things that they're aiming for are just not attainable in the long run. You can hear a lot. I have difficulty speaking and my back making it very tough. You can get into the science, you can get into all the intricacies of everything, but here's the bottom line. In the Bible, listen, God just wants us to, if let's say we have sex with someone, it's like you got to marry that person. There's a reason why it's not a good idea to have sex before marriage. because you bring that, you pollute it into the next person you see. So you might imagine, the sex that you had with that person when you marry, and that can ruin things. There is a divine purpose to all of this. And so the goal is that you don't masturbate. Shame. How many people feel shame after they masturbate? What would that be? About 75% of people, I would say. Many people think like, oh no, like I did again, or like there is no. I don't think there's a single person who masturbates who has a clean thought. There's such thing as clean sex, right? And clean sex can be very good, and that's what people should aim for. And I think that's what God wants people to aim for. So what's the purpose of NoFap anyways? Guys, I'm really struggling with my back. I'm suffering with pain dementia. Not a real dementia, but it happens. Can't think, What is the purpose of these people doing it? Like, when you masturbate, you get like an endorphin rush, you get a dopamine rush, you get probably a serotonin rush, norepinephrine, whatever it is. I haven't looked over that, but I know for sure that it would give you a dopamine rush, pleasure. So people do it over and over, and I'm sure people have done it all throughout since forever. But it seems it drains certain chemicals in your body, or whatever. I don't know if it reduces your semen. But one thing is, you tend to feel a little confidence loss. And obviously, people notice as you get further and further apart between each session of masturbation that that you feel probably more confident. Why is that? Like I said, there is shame attached with that, and a lot of that has to do with the things that you're thinking about. This is God focused video. This is a video about God. So this is the angle I'm coming to. And I know I'm right because I have beaten this. How long have I gone? Maybe 2 years. Maybe 2 years. Maybe it could be a year and 3/4 or 2 years. I'm not measuring. I'm not doing any of that stuff. But I had a lot of trouble in the beginning. And of course I did. I was attacked by literal demons in my sleep paralysis. That's the way they get to you in your dreams and all that type of stuff. I'm still attacked to this day in all different kinds of ways. Why? Because there's many demons attached to sexual stuff. It's what Satan can attack us with the most, and he knows lust. We can covet things, we can lust after many different things, but sexuality is probably number one, even over money. Everybody wants sex. Who doesn't, right? It's pleasurable and stuff like that. I'm going to play this guy in a second, but I want to get my thoughts out and then comment. What's the whole point of stopping? You see, in today's age, with the internet and so many videos of people portraying things that aren't the reality, people think all women are this way or that way. I mean, the West doesn't look good as far as women, but it throws men off. That's what the internet has done. It's totally ruined. This is why this guy's making this video. You start getting your confidence back because you're not doing that type of stuff, no shameful stuff. There is no magic anything that happens. I stopped masturbating for 2 weeks and this woman approached me and ask me out on a date. No, it doesn't work that way. It's very simple. Because you're not into that stuff, you're not shameful, keeping your head down all over the place. You have more confidence. It's just confidence. Everyone else will tell you it's all types of magic, and they'll explain to you scientifically the best they can. There'll be some NoFappers who will say, well, I've done it for this long. Did you do it for your whole life? How many years has it been? Don't say 2 or 3 years. I want to hear like forever, unless you got married or something. God has a purpose. I don't believe God even wants us, because it says in the Bible that he doesn't even want us to spill semen. God took someone's life in I think it was the Old Testament for doing so. I'm really uncomfortable, guys, so I don't mean like about this topic either. I had a lot of trouble with porn, sexual activity, all of it. And I found my way out of it by being born again. We're going to play this now, and I'm going to comment on it too. I believe I pulled my abdomen as well, so that was about 10 days ago, I think. And my adhesive arachnoiditis with it. When you're in so much pain, it's hard not to talk about it. I don't mean to do that. Listen to this. As I was born again, I was right at the point where I'm like, I started to recognize what sin is, okay? I'm sure you've heard this from me a million times. And, you could look outside the box and say, you could actually look at it. It wasn't just a thought anymore. It was something you could actually look at, pick out of the air and say, like, I know what you are. I know what you do to me. I'm not going to let you do that to me again. Not intentionally anyways. The very last thing as someone being born again was masturbating. And I would message people and say to them, well, I do it for this reason, justifying. I do it for that reason, because I'm in so much pain. I do this and it gives me a relief. And I do feel shame after I do it. I do feel shame, and I'm sure many of you do. Don't act like you're not that person unless you're, pardon me saying this, but like a sociopath or a psychopath. Maybe, like someone who lacks feeling. I don't mean anything about that, believe me. So I was justifying it. And guess what happened? When I finally decided to let it go, my life got better. More confident. And so when you're more confident, you start doing more things. You start ignoring the world. You're going to find you have women after you and looking at you. But don't make that your goal to do that so women will be attracted to you. That's not what happens. You're going to say something like pheromones and all that type of stuff. Hey, it's your confidence. It's confidence. Confidence is something that is observable. So let's listen to this. If I would totally believe everything he's saying, and there's a lot of truth to it, if I wasn't a born-again Christian, all of this would make sense. So let's just listen to some of it.
I'm 18 at the time, and I've just gotten home from school, and I'm standing in my bedroom. And I'm having a fight. I'm having a fight with someone who I know really well. We've known each other for a long time. I know them really well. They know me really well. And we're having probably the biggest fight we've ever had. I'm having a fight with my pee-pee, my willy. So at this point, I'm on day 83 of NoFap. Somehow against all odds, I've, gone further than I've ever gone before. And I'm somehow almost 3 months into NoFap. Normally, I'd get to like maybe day 4 or 5, and that would be always when I relapse. My biggest obstacle would be like day 4 or 5. That was like my boss battle. If I could get past day 4 or 5, I'd get to at least day 8 or 9. But somehow this time,
You see the frame of mind, my boss battle? I don't mean anything by this, but my boss battle. Like, are you going to take this seriously? I'm not saying he's not, but it almost kind of doesn't sound like it. What is the purpose to all this?
I've made it to day 83. I have no idea how. It was because I was super motivated this time. I'd been watching a lot of these NoFap benefit timeline videos and like researching a lot about NoFap, going on the subreddits and all that. And I knew I was in this NoFap flatline where for a while the benefits would kind of like level out. And if I could just make it past this period and get to about day 100, couple months in, I would get out of this flatline and the benefits would start to compound. So I was like, okay, super motivated. I was like, okay, let's get to day 100 and finally I'll get a girlfriend. Finally, girls will be attracted to me. Finally, they'll make eye contact with me if I can just get to day 100. So I was super motivated.
Why does he believe that? Is it something he read? Is it something he heard? That if he makes it to a certain day, that he'll be asked out on a date? Can you see I'm at a loss for words. I'm usually good with words, guys, but just give me a sec. Can you see the futility in this kind of thinking? And what is the cause? Take a guess. What do you think? And knowledge shall increase, Daniel. Knowledge certainly has increased. And by so much knowledge being increased, people's minds are starting to be warped. Listen, if we didn't have all this, you didn't hear all these things, it wouldn't be like that. Why not just go out and if you're interested in someone, ask them on a date. Take a chance. Just go up and ask. The worst thing that can happen is that they say no. You know what else? I lived my life. See, I didn't always look like this. This is very thin, okay? I lost a lot of weight because of abdominal issues and a lot of other pain disorders. So I didn't always look like this. And I had quite a few pretty girlfriends, but it was like on the surface stuff. Now, like I'm not looking for anything, but you know what? I make it a rule because of this day and age. You have so many pretty women you see on videos and stuff. This is what I did. I'm not saying you should do this, but because I had sexual problems, because I have had problems with masturbating, like probably half of men, probably half of women, I made a deal to myself that if I was going to stay away from this and not be tempted all the time, that I was just going to, if I go down the street, make sure you don't look at a woman more than 2 times. When I go door to door, just doing my part-time selling pure, beeswax candles, or if I speak to a woman, like if they open up the door and they're gorgeous, and believe me, it happens. I just speak to them as people. I don't care if, I open up the door and I can understand it can be intimidating to be face to face with a beautiful woman. You have to realize they're just humans. That's it. They're just flesh and bone. They might look good. Like it's personality. It's who they are. I hope you guys can understand that. And you might understand that as you get older.
It's super hyped. Many days I was fighting my inner demons, but I managed to conquer them. I managed to get through it. But this was the biggest battle so far, day 83. I'm in my room. I'm butt naked, by the way. And Yeah, I'm getting the biggest urge of my entire life. 83 days in. And, I'm pacing around the room. I'm like, no, come on, we can't relapse now, bro. We're 2 weeks away from 100 days where I become a superhuman. We are so close. We've just got to make it through. I was like pacing around the room. I'm like, oh, but one stroke won't hurt. It would feel so good because it's been 83 days. No, we can't. We're so close. Just get through. I'm like, oh, but it's okay. Just one peek at the hub. That's okay. It won't hurt. And it's just this inner demon battle. Then my demons start winning. I'm like, okay, I'll just do one stroke. That's it. Just one stroke. See what it's like. See if anything's changed. And then back on the streak. I'll have a cold shower.
So I was watching a born-again Christian woman, very attractive, by the way, and she was saying that while she was trying to stop masturbating, listen, if you're about, I would argue to say if you're born-again Christian, you probably don't masturbate, okay? You may be like, what? That's what I believe. I'm not going to tell you. Actually, I think I would. I think it is wrong. I never thought in those terms before, but I think it's wrong because I know where it leads. It can lead you to hell. So this guy's explaining, and I'm not apologetic at all for that. Just gonna, sorry, pardon, just gonna do it once. Who is that speaking? That's the devil. You start justifying. You're so far along. What's the point of keep going anyways if it's not about God and furthering yourself in a pure manner? You see, what you want to do is you want to turn pure. Pure and confidence, I would argue, are the same things. What I mean is like they could be together. They could look the same. Get what I'm saying? I'm not saying you have to do works. That's not what I'm saying. I don't believe works save us. I'm talking about just masturbation and the effects of what it can do. So this guy's wrestling with that, and if you don't have God to bring you along in it, good luck.
I'll go for a walk and I'll do all my homework and we'll be good. Back to normal, 2 weeks away from achieving that big goal. So I do it. I do one stroke. And
what are you going to do then?
Bro, I kind of go unconscious. Next thing I know, 4 more strokes happen. And you know how you get that post-nut clarity, right? Like after you nut, you get that clarity where you're like, oh, what have I just done? I've reset my streak. I'm back to day 0. I wish I didn't do that. Okay, we're not going to do it again next time. We're not going to do it again. And like everything becomes clear and you realize the mistake you've made. Well, this time, bro, after 5 strokes, I experienced pre-nut clarity. I experienced that clarity feeling of regret before the nut happened. Because by the 5th stroke, I had reached the point of no return. There was no going back at this point. I realized the mistake I had made. And when I reached that point of no return, I got that pre-nut clarity and I was like, oh no, what have I done? I realized that I had just thrown 83 days of progress down the drain. And I would be back to day 0, back to that loser, loner guy who would be alone forever. It happened, the nut happened, and I was just sitting there thinking like,
that's a lot of negative thinking, right?
Yep. We're back to day 0. We're back to being unable to make eye contact with girls. We're back to being a lazy piece of shit. And I was like, okay, this is over. NoFap is too hard. I'm going to be alone forever.
I just want to kind of break that down. He thinks because he can't keep going and make it to his goal that he can't stare at women, that he can't do this and that. Maybe you can't stare at women because you're masturbating all the time. Because the thoughts are making you feel shameful. You know what makes me feel really confident? But I don't do it for that reason. I do projects, I work, I do things to develop my personality, my character. I go through a lot of physical pain, that builds character. I work with my hands a lot, that builds character. I don't focus on these things all the time, but to try to beat this, how are you going to do that without God? How are you going to do it without God? How many people do you know that don't do this, that are atheistic? You know what? And I'm sure there are some, but there's probably not a lot of them.
And I'm on day 0, so, relapses don't count at this point. So I went for another 3 rounds, and another 3 rounds the next day. And that was the last time I ever made it to day 83. In fact, that was the last time I ever made it more than 20 days, more than probably 15 days. In 3 years. Stop counting your streaks. Here's the problem with counting your streaks. When you count streaks, you revolve your life around NoFap. Your goal becomes NoFap, right? Your goal in life becomes NoFap, to stop fapping, right? But what is the reason we do NoFap? Is it to stop fapping? Not exactly. We do NoFap to achieve the goals we want in our life, right? Like maybe we want a relationship, maybe we want to achieve our fitness goals, whatever it is, our goals in our life. That's why we do.
So what if you do good at NoFap, you get that thing that you want, like in the gym or a girlfriend, then what happens if you masturbate? It just doesn't make sense to me. This is our world today. And you know what? But God. I think that's as far as I'm willing to go on this. When you stop, I understand. When you stop masturbating, you get confidence back. You feel more confident about yourself. You do it, you don't have clean thoughts. That's what's making you feel that way. And the easiest way for us to be attacked is by the devil, demons. Have you ever tried to stop masturbating for a period of time, especially when you're reading the Bible? It's probably almost primarily when you're reading the Bible and the Word, and then you try to stop doing that, you'll get sleep paralysis attacks. You get there's no condemnation in Christ. There's no demons that come after you in the daytime pertaining to this, but they can attack you in your sleep for sure. Can they attack you in the day by urges? Urges so strong. I got it, and the woman that I listened to, she said, her last one that she got, her urge was so strong that she was sweating, and it was horrible to try to get through. Not long after hearing that, I went through the exact same thing. I was going for a walk. Even though I had had these sexual addictions and all these types of things and types of urges, I had never once in my life been through an attack like that. And it was happening because I'm a born-again Christian, because I'm aiming for never doing it again. Unless I meet a born-again wife, right? At that point, what do? I almost didn't do it, but I do it every time since. And remember, God leaves us a space to get out of bad situations, temptation situations. Resist the devil and he will flee. Call on Jesus Christ, and I promise you it will stop. But you may get 9 attacks in your journey, 9 heavy attacks during the day, during the night, whenever, in your sleep. And they do attack you in your sleep, by the way, sexually. Call on Christ to help you stop it. It feels really good to not have a feeling of of doing all that stuff, I'll tell you. So maybe I'll let this guy talk for a bit. I mean nothing towards this person. I'm just showing you the mindset of this, and I'm very slow today because I'm like 10 pain in my back. The mindset and the reason why all this stuff is taking place in the first place is because this is the internet. Like, our world cannot go very much longer. Our society is being destroyed by the nuclear family. They're attacking it in every single direction about family. That's how I know it's over. We can't sustain our population. This is happening all over the world, except in some other ethnicities.
NoFap. But here's the thing. When you start counting your days, your goal becomes NoFap. So actually your life gets less oriented towards your goals, because instead of kind of being oblivious to pornography and its damage, you become obsessed with stopping it, and it takes over all your thoughts, all your life. So actually what you need to do is forget NoFap, forget it exists, and focus on the real goals you're trying to make in your life. So it's not once you never fap again. That's not when you'll start achieving your goals. You'll start achieving your goals when you start fapping less. So make that your goal. Every week, just aim to fap less than the week before. Slowly unload fapping from your life. Because, bro, you've probably spent like 5 to 10 years building up this habit of doing it daily or weekly. It's not going to disappear overnight.
All right, I don't know. I just hear a lot of the same stuff. Like, I don't care if you take offense to this. I want you to learn this, though. I forget exactly where in John's epistle it says, those born of God don't sin, or they don't want to sin. I wondered at one point what that meant. How could it be possible that a Christian couldn't sin? It didn't mean unwilling, like we're all going to sin. We all fall short of the glory of God. But we see it as God does. It's immoral. It's immoral. So every time we masturbate, I believe God sees it as a huge stain, a huge blood, like seeing someone killed. That's what it is to God, because God is holy. So think of that the next time. And I believe only really a born-again Christian. What does that mean? You're going to have to investigate it. That's for another video. But it was because I was born again that I realized I can't do this anymore. It just feels wrong. And most people are going to argue against me, but I still know I'm not wrong. I know where it led me. Every time you and I say I go out and I have sex with a woman every day this week, every day, every woman I sleep with is another scar in both my psychological self. The more women you sleep with, you're probably going to have less confidence, I think, eventually, because you're going to start building up some type of reputation. Been there, done that. You develop like sexual, psychological scars. I wish I could go back and find one lover and have married. God put me here for a certain time to be in this age, and I accept that. But I tell you, I wish I didn't live in this age. Thanks for watching, guys. I know people are going to have a lot of issues with masturbation, and I don't blame you. And number one, the internet is one of the issues. Not every channel, there's some type of pretty woman. You look on social media, there's some type of, you see all sorts of things. Turn off your social media. Go for your goals. Like, Like, for instance, for me, go to school. I went for my license, got my license, motorcycle license too. Because I don't spend my time on looking at other people's lives. I don't see, to me, when I see a video like this, I understand he's just young. I see confidence being an issue for sure. You don't have to impress anyone except for God, or do it for yourself. Anyways, God bless, guys. I hope this hit a chord. I'm having one of the worst days, and probably this year for sure. My back is not healing. I went to lift something. I retore it for the second time. So I tore my back. I retore it because it's that easy. I did it again by lifting something way too heavy, but I just trying to do it carefully. And it's been about 10 days, still nothing. Please say a prayer for me. God bless, guys.